Good morning. This show really wasn't planned, but after the past week and then the weekend, I thought I would come on here and just share this with you. Many famous people, and I'm not even putting myself at their level, but they say they don't read reviews. And I usually don't either, to be honest with you. I only found out recently that my Facebook page, Political Paula, actually has a place where people can recommend it and write reviews. I only just found that out because, once again, I'm not selling anything on my show. Okay? I'm not going to be fired or lose my livelihood if someone writes a bad review. But recently, since I brought my show completely over to Political Paula on Facebook, and now I only do the show on Political Paula. I don't do it on my timeline anymore. Many people who didn't like the page before did write reviews, and some of them were really, really kind, really nice. In fact, almost all of them were. I think there are 6 actual reviews of my page, Political Paula, and 4 out of the 6 are rave reviews. But there were 2, and the first one was, yeah, it was no big deal. It said that my video quality isn't great. Well, yeah, I know, but that's because I don't have a budget. I don't. I don't have lighting. I don't have cameras. I don't have makeup people. I don't have costume designers, as I'm sure you can tell. I don't have hair and makeup, as I'm sure you can tell. This show isn't about the way I look or the way the set looks, so to speak. It's what I have to say. That's what Political Paula is all about. So that review didn't really bother me that much because I had to agree. The video quality isn't that great, although I will say that some people who have messaged me and said, well, I couldn't watch your show today, it was breaking up, then I would go back and I would play the show, and it played fine for me. So obviously that would be the viewer's issue with their own computer system or their internet. It's really not my fault because the show recorded as it should have. Because I always double check when someone says, your show was breaking up, it was weird. So I always go back and watch the show, and it's like, no, it's fine for me. It must be your computer or your internet. Double check. And many people say, well, I went over on YouTube and watched it and it was fine. So then it's a Facebook issue. But here's the thing about recommendations and reviews. And I am going to challenge my viewers who actually have supported me for so many years. Back when I was doing the original website and the blogs, and then I came on to find that I had a camera on my computer, and I was like, maybe I can do a show, a real show where you can see me. And it is easier sometimes to talk to all of you like you're here with me in my living room and we're just having a chat. It's easier than writing a blog, although I do still enjoy writing. And I am writing a blog series right now if anyone's interested on Facebook. I don't know how to put a blog on YouTube yet. So my YouTubers, you might have to come over to Facebook, but I'm doing a blog series on fear, both imagined and real. And I think it's going to be interesting. The first episode, the first blog aired last week, and it got some good input. The thing about reviews is, first and foremost, you can destroy somebody's business with a bad review. And the only reason I even was reading the reviews over the weekend was because I'm getting ready to launch a website. Yes, Political Paula is once again going to have a website. And I'm doing this because I have found that there's some censorship on Facebook. There is some issues sometimes with uploading videos to Facebook. It takes a long time. And I've wanted this website for a long time. And my web developer, who also happens to be my beloved husband, says it's almost ready. So what we wanted to do to launch the website is put people who have reviewed Political Paula in the past and put those recommendations and reviews on the website to, of course, gain people to come in. And again, there's not going to be any charge. I'm not making any money. You know, if you don't like me or you don't like my show, you're not going to rip me of my livelihood. I'm still going to eat tonight. But I do want to hear your opinions. So I'm not being thin-skinned about this. But I did get one thing this weekend that actually took me from 4.0 in recommendations down to 3.7. And it was from someone I don't know, I have never heard of before, has never commented on any of my shows. I went back and checked. And yet the the comment was, I don't recommend Political Paula, shut her down / fake news. Well, first of all, let me just say, I don't report the news. This is not a news show. What I do is I watch the news and I give you my spin on it. I give you my opinion of the news. I don't report news. Okay? So, as I usually do, when somebody criticizes me, I wrote back and I said, well, I'm really sorry to hear that, but I don't do news. So why are my opinions fake news? For a minute, I thought Donald Trump. I really did. For a second, I thought, oh my God, Donald Trump is using a fake name, and he actually saw my show. Because it did. It sounded very Trumpish. Fake news. Shut her down. Fake news. Doesn't that sound like Donald Trump? Turns out it's probably a Democrat. Because we do have mutual friends. I found that out. And I think I actually went to high school with this person. But again, I don't recognize the name. And from their profile picture on Facebook, I'm not sure that the name and the person, I don't know. I don't even know if it's a he or a she at this point. But I will say this. What the response was to my questioning, well, I don't do the news. It's my opinion. It was based, the first response was, well, I don't know. This just came across my feed. Well, what do you mean you don't know? Now, see, this is what the show's about. You don't know? So you're basically got something on your feed that said Political Paula, and you just immediately said, shut her down, fake news. Well, no. I watched a couple of your shows. Yeah, a couple on one topic. Smoking. Now, we all know that when Political Paula talks about smoking, everybody loses their mind, especially the anti-smokers or people who are sick and blame their sickness on smoking. Hey, whatever. But basically, this person saw my smoking shows from last week and decided that I was not worth watching. Shut me down. I'm fake news. Well, see, I'm only fake news if I'm lying to you. And what I said in my shows last week, and with the picture thing I did, comparing the exploitation of terminally ill people for the anti-smoking establishment's gain, and then comparing those pictures with me at the same age, that wasn't fake news. I do really look like this, okay? This is not makeup. Remember, I told you I don't have a makeup crew. And I am 54 years old. That's the truth. And I do smoke a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. That's true. And this is how I look. I don't look like the 54-year-old woman with half her face missing and a hole in her throat and no hair on her head who passed away at age 54. That they put on television and exploit her. I can't imagine how painful that is for her family, in order to terrify little children and turn them into little anti-smoking soldiers. My God, Miss Paula, you're going to look like the lady on the TV. No, I want to teach those children that I don't look like the lady on the TV, okay? Yes, people get sick. People get sick for many reasons. People who don't smoke get sick. And people who never smoked or drank or had anything wrong get hit by cars or get in car accidents and they die too. That's the truth. That is not fake news, folks. That's not fake news. And I don't want to turn this into a smoking show. This show is about when you write a review about someone or something. You know, I'm looking for a new doctor, obviously. Some of you saw my shows about when to fire your doctor. Well, it's time. And so I was talking to a doctor friend of mine who practices out of town. And I said, well, I'm going to look at reviews. And he said, oh, please, Paula, don't do that. Because what happens is people only write reviews, it seems, when they have a bad experience. Instead of taking a couple minutes and writing when they have a good experience. Now, see, I'm not like that. I will write a bad review of a business if I've had a really bad experience. I've done it with restaurants. I've done it with doctor's offices. I've done it with dentists. But here's where I'm different. I always try to find a positive in my review as well. Like, how about, well, I don't agree with political Paula, but at least she has the balls to come on and talk to all of you and give her opinion, even though she gets attacked for it. She's got guts. There you go. Maybe I won't recommend political Paula because all my friends hate smokers, and she's a smoker. Great. Really, though? Is that a reason to discourage people from liking my page and enjoying my shows? You know, I've done hundreds of shows. And I went back and looked over them, and I've done shows on opioid abuse, abuse behind the badge, where a wonderful woman, Rosa Torres, wrote a book about how she was physically abused by her husband, who was chief of police at the time, and he got away with it, blinding her, causing her serious injury. I did that series when I had my last webpage. I did Finding Bobby. I did The Day Stevie Died. I have done shows defending men falsely accused of rape and sexual harassment. It's not just about smoking, guys. So if you're going to take one of my shows, and only one, and say that my whole page is poison, well, I don't think that's fair. And it's funny because a few years ago, my husband and I went to a very popular restaurant. It's been a restaurant here for a very long time. I think I probably should name it because I probably owe them an apology. It's called Lombardo's, and it's here in Lancaster. And my husband and I just had it was a bad night for them. Apparently, they were overly booked, and our service was abysmal. 25 minutes to get a drink. Our food took hours to get there. But what I did say in the review was that the food was delicious, and it was delicious. It's just that by the time we got it, we were already pretty pissed off because we felt like we had been ignored. And it was a special occasion. It was my husband's birthday. And we felt that we did not get the service that we should have. But I did mention the food. I mentioned the positive. And boy, did the people who love this restaurant, they came at me like I was the Wicked Witch of the West, which I do play on Halloween. But they were right to defend their restaurant. Obviously, the experience that we had was not the norm. And I probably should have gone back a second time and given them a second chance. And also, I should have walked in and let them know that this was their second chance. You know, a food critic always kind of sneaks into a restaurant so that you get the real service and not they're trying to placate you because you're a critic. But I should have said, you know, my husband and I were here a few weeks ago and we were very disappointed with the service. I'm here before I write my review of your restaurant to give you a second chance. That would have been pretty nice of me, actually. And again, the food was really good. So would I recommend the restaurant? At that time, no. At this time, now thinking it over, if you really want good Italian food, it is good. It's delicious food. But sometimes their service is lacking. Many of my friends who have pages on Facebook actually do make a living from those pages. And some people who write reviews have a grudge against the people who are running the business. They're a disgruntled employee, or, they were drunk in a restaurant and the bartender refused to serve them, and all of a sudden they write this review that this restaurant doesn't serve gay people. No, this restaurant bartender doesn't want to get sued for serving drunk people. This guy didn't even know you were gay when he refused you any more alcohol. So we do have to be careful when we review pages, especially those where it's somebody's livelihood at stake. I always take the time when I have a really good experience to write a good review. I've done it with my dentist office. I've done it with my veterinarian's clinic. I've done it with doctors who do good for me. I've done it with restaurants. I think it's just as important to say something nice as to say something negative. And yet, according to my doctor friend, more people will write something negative than positive. And I think that that's a shame. I think when we have a good experience, we just assume that everybody has a good experience and we don't have the responsibility to promote a good business. But when I talked a few weeks ago about good customer service and how it's lacking in so many businesses today, I think we owe it to others to say something good when we have a good experience, to let people know this is a great business, or this is a great doctor's office, they return your calls, or this is a great dentist office, they saved my teeth. This vet is awesome. He doesn't overcharge. He doesn't try to upsell you. I think that's important too. Because if we're only seeing the negative, then we don't see the positive. We don't see that some people have had great experiences. Just like I didn't see the great reviews of the Lombardo's restaurant. But everyone saw my negative one and they ran to defend. And this is my challenge for you guys. While once again, I am not losing sleep over this one bad comment, shut her down, she's fake news. I want to challenge those of you who have been with me from the beginning, who really do recommend my page and like my page. Gavin, Angela, you guys have done it. You wrote me some awesome reviews, and I so much appreciate it. But for those of you out there who have not gone on Political Paula and recommended the page, take some time out of your day today. Go on, I think it just says on there, like I said, I'm not real familiar with this, but would you recommend this page? Say yes. And write a few sentences. Just say why, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. And many people who love my page don't agree with me 24/7 all the time. And if you're going to review me, if you're going to recommend me or not recommend me, at least do it by the basis of the body of my work, not just one 20-minute show. If you're going to hate on me, then at least know what you hating on. I think that's fair. And if you end up not liking my page or not liking me for some reason, believe me, there's a lot of people who do not like me. In fact, they hate me for all kinds of different reasons. Most of them hate me because I do have the balls to come on here several times a week and express myself. Share my stories with you. Share viewer stories with you. I call it as I see it, and I don't take any shit. That scares some people. I make people nervous because they're not used to someone like me talking about the subjects I talk about in public. But I do it because I love doing it. And it's important to me. And as much as I love those who agree with me and tell me how great I am, I also love those of you who disagree. And do so respectfully and say, you know what, you are so off the mark on this one. Because that's how I learn. And just because I'm 54 years old, I'm not in high school anymore. I never really finished college, as most of you know. I still have that thirst for learning. And I learn from every single person. So don't get frustrated if you disagree with me and people who agree with me fight you or say, no, you're wrong. Don't get upset. Stand by yourself. That's what I'm trying to do. I stand up for what I believe. I want you all to do the same. Respectfully. Remember, no name calling, no cursing at people, no calling people stupid. No one who watches Political Paula is stupid, first of all. I don't know stupid people. I do know people who have different beliefs than I do. I know people who don't agree with me all the time. And that's great. That's what makes my life interesting. That's why I get out of bed. I wrote a little blog the other day saying I don't have much to look forward to in my life. So I live each day. I don't have a lot of people to talk to in my life. Everybody's too busy to talk to me or go out to dinner with me or whatever. But you know what? I get to come on here and talk to all you lovely people. And you respond. And I feel like I have a whole bunch of friends in this huge community, and you're not all just like me. And that's what I have I've striven for this my whole life. I strive to meet people who are not just like me. I want to know different people from different cultures, different religions, who look differently than me, who believe differently than me. You guys make it worth getting up in the morning. So don't get frustrated if you feel like everybody's against you because you disagreed with something I said and the majority agree with me. Don't get discouraged. Someone asked me the other day, I don't know why you keep this person as a friend. Because this person happens to be very smart. And while we don't often agree, the times where we do agree and the things that I read that she writes, they move me. They teach me. That's why I keep my friend Allison on board, because to me, she is truly a friend. Yes, she will call me out. She will yell at me. She will tell me I am just off the mark, but I appreciate her. And I appreciate her because she's got the balls to do what I do. She stands up for what she believes and she does not back down. Those are the kind of friends I want. And when someone says to me, why do you have friends like this? I ask them, why don't you have friends like this? It's so easy to just hang out with people who are always going to tell you you're right, who are just like you. But I'll tell you what, it's so much more fun to be around people who are completely different than you and actually talk to them, get to know them, let them get to know you. That's when the fun starts. And that's why I love my job. And bad reviews, 1 or 2 bad reviews, is not going to make me go away. I wish Facebook would allow page owners to remove, I'm not going to say ignorant because nobody's ignorant, but reviews that were made out of dislike for a person or from a disgruntled employee or from someone who actually has never really watched the full body of the work. You can't say you hate a TV show if you only watch it one time. You gotta give it some time, give it some chances. Many television shows were almost canceled. And then they got a following as it went on and on and on. So remember that If you have something good to say, don't think that everybody already knows it. Say it. Take the time to write a good review, especially when somebody's livelihood is at stake. And as for my viewers, I would strongly encourage you to get that 3.7 review back up. I can't believe that one bad review from someone who has only watched one show on one topic was able to take me from 4.0 to 3.7. And again, this really isn't about the numbers, but I am looking to include reviews and recommendations on my new website, which I'm being told is almost finished. Of course, I've been told it's almost finished for like 3 months now, but I really think it's almost finished. So that's going to be amazing when I launch that. And I would like to include some of your comments and reviews on my new website. And of course, I hope that you will all join me there when I launch my new website. I hope you will all come on and enjoy the website, whether you agree with me or not. Like I said before, everyone is welcome at my table as long as you mind your manners and know which fork to use when you're going to stab me in the back. Political Paula is out.